now we actually have something happening in WandaVision. That's not really a complaint, but we definitely were relying a lot on the sitcom format previously and very carefully scattering clues throughout the episodes. But this one actually started to sort of set up where everything is headed in a very comical way. Somewhat might actually, you could argue it's a bit rushed the way they do explain it, but it's certainly, I guess, because of the fact that the series is airing an episode weekly, it kind of makes sense that the big twist would be revealed the way it does because people have been expecting it, people have been speculating, and so we just kind of want an answer at this point. So if you're gonna give us one, just show it. The episode is good. I don't think it's nearly as good as the previous few episodes, specifically everything that happened after the second episode. So everything since episode 3 has been really good. I think this is slightly less good than all those. Even last week's episode, which I don't think much happened, I liked the discussions and the format a lot more than this one. And when I say format, I mean just the kind of shows that they're trying to play up in this case. So other than that, though, it is still a good episode, and I think it's leading to what's going to be a great next few episodes, which should be an episode 8 and a 9. The show was originally, from what I remember, it was like announced as 6 episodes, but now it turned into 9 episodes, and some people have been arguing that there's actually going to be a secret 10th episode. I don't remember when Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to start, so I feel like the episodes obviously aren't going to go past whenever that starts, which I believe was in March. And I think between then, they're going to show that documentary about the making of WandaVision. So I don't know if there's even room for a secret 10th episode, but, they might do it. But I believe technically there's only 2 episodes left, as of now. But I like where they're going with things. And also, since they've ran out of decades because they decided to spoof shows from the 2010s, or late 2000s and early 2010s today, you're out of decades to spoof now, so, or spoof or parody or pay tribute to. You don't have any other decades left, so it made sense that now things are starting to kind of wrap up and we're getting an idea of where things are headed. So at this point, I guess, spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, I don't know why you're watching this video, but let's talk about it. So this episode did what we saw in some of the teasers, where it's doing Modern Family, it's doing The Office, some other mockumentary-styled shows that became popular, mostly because of The Office, during the late 2000s and early 2010s. And I'm trying to remember if Curb Your Enthusiasm was also technically a mockumentary format, kind of. I was getting vibes of that show, honestly, just from the fact that there was music score throughout. A lot of these mockumentary shows don't have any score, but this show actually did had music in the background, but it kind of reminded me more of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, more so than the fact that, like, Modern Family and The Office doesn't have music. So that was the one choice that I maybe thought they shouldn't have done, was have music during the TV show portions of this show. Not necessarily the stuff going on with Sword and outside of the hexagon. I just mean within the show, I don't think they should have had music. They should have been like what Modern Family and The Office is, but it still worked. I don't think they were as good with the humor of this gimmick as much as they were with the other decades. I think the other decades they really nailed, but this one, it wasn't as funny, and it didn't seem like they were maybe trying to be as funny, and I don't know, maybe it just didn't seem like the style was suiting what they're capable of. And that's not like a criticism, because they've done so many different styles of shows at this point, and I think they nailed all of them, really paid tribute to them all, and really played up the cliches and tropes of those eras and did it very well. But I don't think they did it as well with this decade. Mostly because maybe it's because we aren't far enough away from this style of show yet, where we don't really know how to reflect on what, what specifically the best tropes were and what made those shows funny, or I don't really know what it is, but also it might just be because it's not their style of humor, because with these mockumentary formats, it is a bit of a drier humor, And it's just a different style humor. And I think it's kind of hard to tell a story in the background of a show like this versus other shows that are so obviously a TV show. Like sitcoms are so obvious about what they are, whereas a mockumentary, it's kind of breaking that fourth wall already, and WandaVision's a show that's kind of doing that in general. It's like, oh, there's a TV show within a TV show. But it's kind of probably hard to suddenly move to the mockumentary format because now you're talking directly to the camera, and it's like, how much of the fourth wall are we going to break here? Because how apparent are you going to make it that, oh, by the way, we're in a hexagon right now? I mean, Wanda's almost being a little blatant about that. She at one point mentions how she expanded the hexagon the last episode. So, I don't know. I just don't think it was as funny, but also it wasn't too focused on, because now we're starting to get where the show is headed for the next few episodes. So, Kat Dennings is not who she was from Two Broke Girls. She's just part of the circus, but she ends up having her mind reverted back to her character outside of the hexagon because of Vision, and they team up to figure out whatever's going on. We don't really see what happens with that because we end up focusing on the sword people, which Rambo is also breaking back into the hexagon. And now she's got superpowers, which a lot of people were speculating what's going to happen. I guess it happens in the comic books. So she's pretty much got superpowers. We don't really see the extent of those superpowers, but she has them. And then Wanda, who doesn't seem worried about Vision at this point, but I think she's just worried to see him because she knows that he's figuring things out, and she doesn't want everything to end because she wants to live in this little perfect reality. So she's mostly alone for the episode, but she is being cared for by Agnes at one point, which she then reveals that she's actually Agatha, which is a witch character from the Marvel Universe. I didn't know who that was, but I know there was a lot of speculation that that's exactly who this character was. It was going to be revealed at one point that she's the villain, and that's pretty much what happens here. And then they do like a Addams Family Monster type of theme song where she's like, it was Agatha all along, and it's pretty funny. But they kind of go back through some of the other episodes where she was using her powers against some of the other characters. So it's Agatha that's been doing it. However, so a few things about that. I still don't really know what's going on with that, and it's not bad because I like that they're kind of scattering out clues as we go. But we don't really know why Agatha is doing this. We don't really know who she is. We don't know where she came from. And I don't really know how Hayward plays into all this now. They start to dig a little into that because it's revealed that he was trying to possibly revive Vision's body, which would make sense. Kat Dennings mentions at one point that she just figured you could turn Vision on again because it's mostly a robot. And it's like, right. I was kind of thinking that previously also, and that was one I was under the assumption that maybe Ultron was controlling everything, and it actually wasn't Wanda at all, and that Ultron was controlling Vision. So I don't really know if that's what they're gonna go for at this point. I'm still questioning it only because I saw somewhere that the voice of Vision, oh man, now the voice is, it's gonna escape me. Are you serious? Now I'm not gonna remember the guy's name as we're sitting here. The guy from The Office. Why can't I remember his name? He played Robert California. Oh, I'm gonna forget his name. But Vision is being controlled by Ultron. That was a thought I had previously. It doesn't seem like they're gonna maybe go for that at this point. But we'll see, because I heard that actor was apparently cast in the show. So it could possibly still happen. And I don't know why his name is escaping me now. And now I'm so annoyed. What was Ultron's voice? Oh, man. Ultron's voice. What was it? I don't remember. I'm an idiot. Why can't I remember? I have his freaking face in my head, and I can't remember what his name was. Holy, that's embarrassing. Oh, well. But anyway, I don't know if they're still going to do that, because now they have another villain, which is Agatha. And at one point, they show that she was controlling Evan Peters' version of Pietro. So possibly that means that he's not Mephisto, which a lot of people were speculating about, which I kind of doubted. I said more than likely, I think he's just exactly who he seems to be, which is the X-Men version of Quicksilver. I still think they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to explain it within this show, but he shows up in the after credit scene after not being in the episode for almost its entirety, probably because he knew too much about what was going on and it was starting to disturb Wanda, and she seems to do that. If people start questioning things too much, she tries to like get rid of them or write them off the show, but he's still there. And I'm wondering when he runs into the younger Rambo character at the end credit sequence, if he's gonna mention that he knows everything that's going on. Like, I wonder if his mind sort of broke out of it now and is gonna remember that he comes from a different universe. I don't know. We'll see if they even explain that in the show, but I do believe that he's just supposed to be Quicksilver. That's been my assumption all along. And from the fact that they showed that Agatha was controlling Quicksilver at one point, I think that's enough proof that he wouldn't be Mephisto, because why would she be controlling a version of a Mephisto who looks like Quicksilver? I think that's a little bit much. If it ends up just being an Easter egg and he is just Mephisto, that's stupid, I think. But I don't know. It still leaves a lot of questions because it makes you wonder, okay, is Agatha... Because, as mentioned before, the Evan Peters cameo was not controlled by Wanda. She said that directly, and then we see that Agatha was controlling it. And there's been quite a few things that Wanda hasn't necessarily been controlling, but in this episode, it seems like the whole world is falling apart because, like, the TV, the furniture, different things are transitioning through the different decades. So it makes you wonder, since she doesn't have any control over that, how much of this is Agatha controlling? Is Agatha controlling it all? Is she controlling Wanda to do all this? Or is there sort of a power grab going on? And also, why is Agatha doing this? And does she just happen to be there? It's weird, and it kind of leaves you questioning things, because at one point during the last episode, Vision found Agatha, or Agnes, and broke her mind out of the hexagon for a second, and she didn't seem to know where she was. Was she still Agatha at that point? Or is she only Agatha within the hexagon? And see, I guess we could follow the comic book storyline, which, Agatha actually had more of a relation to Wanda prior to Wanda becoming Scarlet Witch, which was never introduced in the MCU. She's never been a character in the MCU. Catherine Hahn has never been in it until now. So it kind of makes me wonder how exactly they're going to play that off, because maybe this is just a version of Agatha where she's only the witch character in the hexagon, but outside of it, she's not. But I don't buy that. I think she is just supposed to be Agatha. And as for Vision breaking her out of her mind at that one scene at the end of the last episode, what exactly was going on there? She might have just been playing it up. She might have just been messing with Vision because she's a little bit smarter, because she kind of knows what's going on. But I don't know. It's really weird. And it's a concept I like. I like where it's going, because it means that a big portion of the show she had to have been faking with the rest of the town what's going on, because clearly she was able to control things, and she didn't need to be, like Vision has this ability to break people out of the hexagon with their mind, but she didn't need that to be done to her in order for her to be the bad guy, if that makes any sense. I know Vision did it in the last episode, but he technically reset her again, and then she was like, oh, and she drove away. So between the last episode and now, she's much more comfortable being her Agatha persona, but I'm wondering why. And maybe it's also possible that perhaps that's the reason the hexagon was built to begin with. Maybe there's something that happened prior to this where Scarlet Witch was catching on that Agatha was a thing and maybe trapped her in here, and that was the whole purpose of the hexagon, possibly. Why she would need Vision's body, I don't really know, but it's cool to see where it's going. I really don't have any guesses at this point, because a lot of my guesses I feel like aren't going to happen unless they really start getting crazy with the next few episodes. As far as, because I thought the whole thing might have been controlled by Ultron, and maybe Vision had a much more bigger control over the hexagon than previously announced. But Now it seems like Agatha maybe the one that has a slight control over it, but it might be her fighting for control over it with Wanda, and we still need to know what the purpose of the hexagon was. I think it'd be kind of cool if it was Wanda trying to be the good guy, just because that would mess with people's expectations. I think a lot of people were thinking she'd be the bad guy because of previously in the comic books she was going to become a bad guy, and I know she was a bad guy at one point during the comics, but I think a lot of people then expected that. Uh, I think it'd be kind of cool to mess with people and to not do that storyline and then have it actually be where Agatha is the bad guy and she needs to fight her, which that is also something that happened in the comics. So, but at least would screw with people's expectation that Wanda's the bad guy. You know, maybe just stick to the one other bad guy. And the reason that the hexagon was built all along was because she needed to trap her. And things got out of hand, and then it's kind of confusing who even has control at this point. How Vision plays into all that, I don't know. I still think Ultron will show up because the actor has been cast. But then again, maybe he'll just show up in one of the commercials as, you know, a fun voice. God, why can't I remember his name? Oh, it was like, why can't I remember his name? This is nuts. I almost want to, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Because my computer's not on right now. I'm going to walk into the movie room. There's the light. There's the other light. I'm going to grab the movie. I'm going to find out right now. Where's Avengers? By the way, I don't think these are alphabetized correctly. Oh my god, I don't think they are. No, it's just, okay, I have a few B's in the wrong spot. I gotta fix that. James Spader! James Spader as Ultron. I heard that he was cast already, and that he is going to show up in one of the episodes eventually. Is it going to be a cameo? Is it going to be just one of their made-up commercials? Is he going to play a bigger part? I don't know, but we're going to see where this Agatha stuff goes. Well, this was an embarrassing vlog. I couldn't remember a name, and I have a couple of my movies in the wrong order, if you can see here. Because, yeah, if you look right here. Okay, why am I... So you have A's right here, and then it goes to B's, and then to A's again. So I have a few B's in the wrong spot. Beetlejuice Before Sunrise, and being John Malkovich. So I need to fix that. Thanks for watching, everyone.